Have a wonderful cooperative effort done for us by James Madison University. Carol Nash heads the archaeological department, and they come up here and do studies. And amongst the things they found were evidence of who used this land prehistorically. Prehistorically, about 8,000 years ago, there were humans using this meadow. We know that because they found the tools that they used. They found a rock shaped like this rock. Notice how nice and tapered it is for least amount of wind resistance. And notice the holes bored in it for tying it to a stick. And they would have built a tool like this. This is a replica. 8,000 years ago, there probably were elk and woodland bison in the area. And if you were looking for food, hey, that's a lot of food. And bows and arrows had not been invented yet. So they needed a tool that was better than a spear to take down a big animal like that. You can only throw a spear just so far with just so much velocity. This is a multiplier of your arm strength. There's a hook up here, a little projection. Your spear will have a notch in the back of it. Hold that spear so the notch sits on there, balance it, and then give a hard throw like that. Because of the way that this thing is built, you can control the angle and departure of that spear just incredibly. This is called an atlatl or atlatl, depending on how you read it. Atlatl is the way I've been told to say it after I said atlatl too many times. And I don't know how they know, because 8,000 years ago was a long time ago. So that's evidence that they were here. They also found stones that would have been used as cutting tools, attached to a handle of some kind with rawhide. They found stones that would have been great as an axe head for chopping. All these things 8,000 years ago and more recently. Well, gee, does that indicate it was a meadow 8,000 years ago? Well, they asked that question, so they said, let's go ahead and do core samples. Dig down through the soil and take that and pull it back out again and check the pollen in it. The pollen will tell us what was growing there. It's been a meadow for 12,000 years. Wow. I just told you we maintain the meadow. If it can last 12,000 years, why can't it last now? It can't. The weather's warmer. 15,000 years ago was the end of the last ice age. Although the ice sheet didn't come this far south, it stopped in Pennsylvania, we had very cold climate right here. It would have been like a Canadian tundra. Canadian folks, a little further north than Toronto, but Canadian tundra area where you don't have many trees growing there. And as it warmed up from that glacier age, normal cycle global warming, this place at this high altitude and that disc shape and a ridge over there and a ridge over there protecting it from the weather, it stayed cool. And the trees didn't come in. But I mean, how long does that last before you're no longer in a tundral kind of sequence? And they asked that question, and they started looking around, and they looked at some other archaeological tests they had been doing, and they found evidence that around 3,200 years ago, somewhere in the area that was the meadow, they found chestnut trees, American chestnut trees, had been growing there with no understory. Huh. Normally there'd be stuff growing under chestnut trees. They were being farmed, most likely. Kept the underbrush out of the way, so when those nuts come down, it's easy to gather them up. That's pretty intelligent for 3,200 years ago. They found 3,200 years ago, in that time frame, areas were in the same physical location there were artifacts from about a dozen different Native American cultures. Oh, you can imagine one Native American nation, tribe, whatever you want to call it, living in this area, maybe 2, but 12? This was likely to have been either a sacred site or a trading area. Now let's think about this. 3,200 years ago, the Ice Age is long gone. It's warmed up quite a bit. The valleys and the Piedmont side get pretty hot in the summer. Hey, let's all meet up at Big Meadows where it's cooler, 10 degrees cooler, and have a party.